are going to come back, I think they'll be doing a little bit better.
That'll be interesting, especially, I don't know when the next patch is hitting. I don't know if it hits before something like Apex is completed. I'd have to go look at the dates, but that'd be interesting if the patch did hit mid-tournament or something along those lines, and sort of gave your rogues and enviouses a bit of a leg up. But either way, we are getting in here at Route 66. This is the Alienware monthly melee. Just a little bit of fun speculation while holding on. It is going to be Immortals here on the defense to start things off. Grim Reality opening up here on the McCree. Agility's on the Reaper. So they're not going for a whole lot of control here, Hex. They're just going for raw brute power.
No, not at all. And they're showing their comp. They're just hanging out right in front of the door. I was hoping they were going to do something cheeky that I think maybe we saw Kingdom do last melee, of holding the front train car and then just jumping down on them, hoping to win that fight, and they did. And it was glorious, but right now they're just going to all back out. That was odd. I don't think I've ever seen a team just walk up to the front door and hang out like that. So we'll see where they want to hold on this as far as the defense goes. But no, nothing super out of the ordinary. Grim Reality on that McCree. Agility's going to play a defensive Reaper. Kaka in the offensive Hanzo is not necessarily a super out of the ordinary pick. Yeah, because he switches. I was going to say offensive Hanzo on Route 66 would be something new.
I think they just wanted to make sure there was nothing super cutesy happening where you had an entire team in the train car. Exactly. That was just a pure, we don't want to deal with this type setups. So other than that, C9 going pretty standard here. Again, be putting their hopes and dreams in Surefour's Genji. Surefour, of course, man of many talents. Not quite as good as Tasumi, but, you know, he tries.
Who can be? Still waiting for that Tasumi Pluppy 1v1. It'll happen.
Tasumi Pluppy. That would be the dream. But we see Surefour right now almost has Dragonblade up. Is able to create enough of distraction. Mendo takes down Agility. So 65 for C9, and it's nothing flashy. They're just grinding down Immortals right now. Pick after pick, pushing them back. And now, with the Dragonblade coming up, this might be over before it begins as far as point A goes.
They're already bailing out of here. Now, one of the things you want to do on that defense when you're holding high ground like that is not just keep retreating and giving up ground and giving up ground. At some point, you just go and you just jump on them. That's exactly what you generally do on the defense. The early pick probably hurt them in that case, but even after the early pick, they just kept sliding back. They were on roller skates that entire time.
And take a look at Surefour right now, holding on to the Dragonblade. Gonna be able to come around the back line. A lot of momentum here for the C9 team, so we're gonna keep an eye on Surefour here, as he's very likely to go in here in just a moment. But while they have 5 on the payload, he doesn't really feel the need to go in right now. I mean, why? C9's getting everything they want and more.
Yeah, they have everything going for him. Here comes the Dragonblade. They're just going to try to clean up. Here comes a Deadeye on the other side of things, but Surefour gets the better end of that as they are trading now 2-1. Graviton comes in pretty late. Is the cleanup even going to be there? Yes, it is, as Grim, Agilities, and Hyped all combined for a couple of kills. A very late sound barrier, though. I guess you want to make sure you win that fight, but that fight was over.
Absolutely, it was a good counter-engage coming in here from the Immortals, and Hex, just looking at that fight right there, would you have preferred if C9 went in a little bit earlier? It felt like they were really trying to maximize payload time, which seemed smart, but it kind of bit them a little bit too. It gave Immortals a lot of time to set up.
You don't ever want to give a defense time to set up, and that's exactly. Then it pushed them into a weird position where they had to get jumping in offensively onto the high ground. You'd rather just keep chasing and not let them ever do that. Again, though, the fight starts as they trade out 1v1. Surefour does take down one. Wolf is going to chime in, so this fight very back and forth, extremely scrappy. Agility's getting very far in. He is out in no man's land right now.
It's Rolf with the double kill early on. The sound barrier lets C9 come in with a whole lot of momentum. Hyped able to take down Rolf, but C9, numerical advantage on the point right now, able to push it back, and it's Mendo really being the hero there on the McCree.
This is one of the maps that we always end up highlighting Cloud9's versatility, because it's generally Surefour who switches off onto something different, but they still want to run a McCree on this map. It's a great McCree map offensively and defensively, and they have the DPS to be able to do it. You don't lose a lot when you run Mendo on the McCree.
Here comes a Deadeye from Mendo in over the top, set up by the Graviton, but only has a Reinhardt to go for there. Still, though, as that's going on, Rib was able to get down Agility, so still a 6v5. Enough distraction has been made, and Mendo here just camping in over the top. Not a whole lot of pressure on him right now. Not getting a whole lot in return, but while that's going on, it's Surefour gets the back of the Dragonblade, picking up 2, and C9 gonna keep this party rolling here as really, I feel like Immortals has just struggled a little bit here, Hex.
What do you think they switch here? Is this a time that you maybe run a Winston? It's not the greatest map for it, or even this section of it, but right now Surefour is feasting. I think you still have to run the Reinhardt here because of how well Mendo's doing as well, but what do you even switch off here? I don't think anything this fight, but what do you see?
It's hard to say. I mean, maybe you put agilities to the May or something after Death Blossom here and keep Grim on the McCree. Just something to give a little bit more control because they haven't been able to keep much of that control. Rolf, though, with the big pickoff on the Grim Reality. Agility's going to try and be the hero here. Nano boost on to Reaper. Goes to the backline, and it's nap time once more. Rolf having himself an Ana game. Gonna take out Reaper in the most devastating of ways in the backline.
The most humiliating of ways.
C9 read that perfectly, and Rolf came in with such a good sleep dart.
Well, the skill ceiling on Ana tends to be, in my opinion, your sleep darts. At a certain level, a lot of players are going to be able to charge, do the damage that they need to get, but can you hit that sleep dart when it matters the most, when you're under the most pressure to do so?
All right, we do have a Deadeye coming out here from C9. Mendo looking for those skulls. Not able to get here just yet. Rolf trying to support in the backline, but defense looking like they're going to be pushing C9 back at least once. And here's the problem for C9. They don't want to extend this fight. Like, Mendo's able to get a kill here, but if he has teammates of his that are dead all around him, it's a little bit rough because he might just be extending his own death. And here comes Nomi going on a Mendo. Mendo in a whole world of trouble. Finally goes down. That's a good job to stagger that death there, Hex.
Yeah, look at these responsive picks, too. For a moment, Agilities was on the Diva. That was purely to mess with Mendo's McCree. Hyped has gone now over to the Winston so that he can start shutting down short 4, although some switches of their own are coming out of short 4. Goes immediately to the Reaper after he just died to this Winston. So switches all abound. Agilities now onto a Roadhog as well.
All right, take a look here for C9. Adam gonna be looking to set up with the sound barrier. In comes the sound barrier. Rolf, nano boost is up and in. So C9, all their support ultimates on deck right now as they try and finish out Route 66. It's 5v5 at the moment. Kai able to take down Agilities, so sword play C9 coming in strong at the moment. Grim Reality getting poked down by Rolf, has to back out. And oh, from downtown, Rolf taking down Ethan with the with the biotic grenade towards the very end. So just like that, C9 in a great position now to finish out this map.
You see these roster pickups, all sorts of them just showing up at different times. We saw amazing play from Rib earlier. Mendo has had great games as well. This was the Rolf show, who I thought was probably the best pickup that they made on this roster. After his E-League performance on Zenyatta, but he's also shown that he can be a great Ana. Slasher mentioned the versatility of being able to only run 2 supports, you know, and running just an Ana and having the skill to do it. Rolf, one of the best in the world, doesn't miss darts. And it's so much pressure. I don't think people understand how hard it is to hit a sleep dart in general, because it is a strange ability, the delay on the fire and just kind of how it moves. And then to hit it when you have to, or your whole team dies. And he simply doesn't miss those.
No, he doesn't. And Rolf in general, one of the more heavy-hitting DPS or support players in the game when it comes to doing DPS on his support characters. I mean, he does it on Zen. He does it on Ana there. There were points in that game where he was able to take out Grim Reality. And even when he didn't take him out, he applied such pressure to him that it really negated a lot of the McCree pressure that Grim Reality would otherwise put in.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to be said about hitting one shot on Ana and then just leaving it at that. Because if you can make them retreat, that's fine, and you're out of line of fire. So hitting the one shot on any DPS or anyone really is Ana from far away, calling that target, and he's used to, you know, calling out who's discorded. So call out who's actually eaten an Ana dart right there, and he's been playing phenomenally. That was an amazing time on Route 66. It's going to be a tough time to beat for Immortals.
Absolutely, and remember, this is a map too where teams don't always complete this map. It's difficult to finish out Route 66 against another team at this level, so C9 working with a great advantage right now. It's gonna be rough here for Immortals to bring it back, but we'll see if they have what it takes. You take a look here at the C9 defense. C9 defense also not really going for much in the way of control. No May Winston shenanigans going here, just raw in-your-face power coming in from Mendo and Sheer4 and Kai looking to support that with the Zarya.
Yeah, there's teams that don't even capture first point on this map at a competitive level. So the work definitely cut out for him. I think the biggest problem I had with Immortals last time was, and this has been a theme throughout the night, just a little too late to make some switches that were absolutely necessary. And by the time they made those switches, you're already in a different part of the map that didn't require them as much. A nice blind dart already knocks down Agility. He's taking a nap.
And Rolf is on. Has just been enjoy the watch here. Like, sure, we're looking at Mendo right now, but it's been Rolf making the plays. Sheer4, though, overextends a little bit, immediately taken out by Agilities, going to seal his fate. And now, 6v5, this is going to be a little bit rough here for C9. They need to back out a little bit. They're missing a big engine of their damage. And this is where an Ana that's as good as Rolf can put you back over the top. He can sort of function as a in-between DPS, but Agilities, having none of it, takes down Rib. And just like that, a 64 here for Immortals as they're picking C9 apart.
Short 4 underestimated that there were 2 people up there. He was going to clean up the Roadhog and not give him the high ground to get the hook angles, but in reality was up there as well. Too much damage for one person to deal with.
Take a look right now, C9 trying to reestablish this, but Immortals holding most of the cards. You take a look, though, at the ultimates that are coming up here. Shore4 pretty soon have a Death Blossom. Mendo does have the Deadeye. It's not the Deadeye that you have to worry about in most cases, but Shore4 now going the helicopter off the top. This could be bad. Here comes Shore4 spinning right in, takes down one, but immediately punished by agilities. However, I think enough damage was done there, Hex, that will let C9 stabilize.
They were generally fighting for not there because they weren't getting any pressure on the cart because Adam was tucked away in that corner as the Lucio. You'll probably see him do it again if the fight dissolves and they're trying to get pressure there, but there's this blind spot right by this fence, the corrugated metal fence up here. You can hide someone in and the cart will not move past the point if someone's there. That's exactly what they did to take advantage of that. And then Short 4 off the top rope, able to get enough damage in, they're able to chase it down and clean it up. Here comes Short 4 again.
Short 4 moving in there off the nano boost, immediately taken out by Jildies. Jildies has been the difference maker here, gets the double kill, slaying members of C9 left, right, and center. Kaikai gonna have a late graviton up here. No, he uses it, does not save it, only pulls in the Rhine. Can't help but feel like that might have been a little bit of a mistake, but no, he does take down Nomi. Nomi did not have any support near him, so Kaikai's gamble paying off. And we'll see if C9 can continue holding it. They are down some members, but Sound Barrier comes in, and they're pushing this right back here, Hex.
I feel like Cloud9 does not necessarily save ultimates that could win fights, or they feel like if we can just devolve the fight a little bit, then I think we can win our 1v1s that will come out of it. So they feel okay throwing ults into one person or 2 people just to even the odds up, because I feel like even if they're down 1 player in a fight, they have like confidence that they're going to win all of their mechanical duels, and generally they do.
Absolutely, and take a look at Shurfa right now, is holding on to what's about to be a Death Blossom. He had one great moment earlier. Only a minute left here or so for this Immortal squad, so not a whole lot of time that they're working with. Shurfa gonna have to take the route under, but oh, the Sleep Dart comes out early on. It's gonna nap time here for Shurfa. As Immortals, this is probably gonna be their best window. Graviton comes in from Hyped, pulls in 3. The fall through isn't there. They're getting saved by that big Earl side, but it's gonna be Agilities coming in once more, Hex, setting up Immortals, and will this time be their time?
Nomi gets another kill. Here comes Mendo up over the top. Does get boosted on the McCree. Like Slasher said, it is something that mostly only Cloud9 will run. But right now the fight's still kind of devolving. It's definitely Immortals with the player advantage right now. Adam trying to save the cart there early. And even though a kind of shoddily used Graviton was not exactly what they wanted, they are going to get this first point, but at a much slower rate.
It is much slower, and I gotta say, Rulf somehow magically lived. The hook like put him over Agility's head, and he came really close to soloing down Agility's. Unfortunately for Rulf, this team was dead all around him, but Immortals right now seizing the initiative. Here comes the nano boost. I'm a little bit concerned over this. I don't think that was really necessary. He already had the kill to begin with, but ends up finding Surefour just from how darn quick he was towards the end, so kind of worth.
You make something out of nothing, I suppose. If it happened, it may have been fat-fingered, may have been something along those lines, or they just really want the positioning. I mean, we knocked Cloud9 for how they didn't take advantage of their first fight win to take all of the free ground. They fought a little bit too late, and it seems like Immortals wanted to fight at least as early as possible. They got a lot of free push there, and they know they have to. But now it's a minute left. They're down to their last fight, and they don't have those abilities. A nice hook comes in, takes Rib out.
Oh, look at that. Rib getting taken for a ride by Agilities. The final damage isn't there. Rib still somehow alive, and Surefour there at the immediate flash takes down Agilities, holding on to the Death Blossom. And he's just looking for a little bit of extra cleanup here. Should not need to helicopter in. And now 45 seconds remaining here, Hex. It's going to be Immortals down to their last push. And how do you see this going down?
They're going to have to get a better Graviton than Hype did in his last one. Nomi hit a nice Earth Shatter last time. It is going to be the tanks that have to do this, right? They're going to have a lot up. The tanks are going to have to carry. They might even take a page out of Cloud9's book and boost this McCree as well, as Grim has his Deadeye up.
All right, well, here we go. Immortals, last opportunity here on the table. Hyped, going to come in, has a Graviton up and ready, and he's just looking for the opportunity. He's looking to make his own opportunity. Not quite grinding the hook this time, but here's the Graviton, and reels in all sorts of members here from C9. They don't necessarily have the immediate follow-up, though. It's very close between the both teams. Nobody dropped the Earth Shot in the middle, took out 2, swings the hammer, looking for the 3rd, and this could not be any closer, but it's looking like Immortals might have just broken through.
The monthly melee just brings out the best Reinhardt in people. We've seen it last week, Factor, or last Melee, rather, Factor Fiction did the best Reinhardt we've ever seen. Nomi's having a great game. He's won them the last couple of clutch fights that they needed, but Cloud9 not ready to give this up. They left the door open for reinforcements, and they're coming back in.
They are coming back in. It's so hard to reinforce here as defense, but they're finding a way. Rolf getting that pick off towards the end, keeping Rib up and alive, and this is a scary combination, but it's going to be hype. Oh, no! They didn't stay on the payload! Why does this keep happening? Again. Oh my goodness. I feel like this has happened way too much in competitive Overwatch over the last month. Please stay on your objective in overtime. There was a D.Va up at full HP there.
Yeah, I mean, there's no excuse for it. They were not in their optimal composition. They were in panic comp. That's why Hyped is even on that D.Va. That's why Agilities is on the Tracer to get back to the cart. But you have to know the situation better than that.
Well, Play the Game does come out here from Nomi, but it was right at the end where they were keeping things forward. But I gotta say, that at the very end, it's one of those things where I understand if everyone's low HP and they're sort of dancing around, but Hyped was a full HP D.Va, and he went for the isolation rather than just getting on the point.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure he thought that everyone else had it covered, but oh my goodness. Rough times there for Immortals. C9 taking the first map.
Well, we do have Immortals asking for East Coast or Central ping, and they're saying that Agilities had high pings. So maybe that was part of it. I did think that Agilities did not have the best time on Reaper on defense, and when Cloud9 was on offense, he was not able to get a whole lot done, and that was able to get Cloud9 to the very end before they were able to switch off to Winston, as you mentioned earlier, not really get anything going. So that did hurt them. I do want to have some real talk, though. Real talk, Blizzard needs to fix the spot where Adam is hiding on Lucio. Yeah. That spot should not exist. No, because really, Agility's got 2 picks to open up the first point. And if they are able to push the cart closer to the spawn, that is going to have to force Cloud9 to jump off at the bridge area. But because Adam is able to sit there in the corner with Lucio, the cart doesn't move, and then Cloud9 can keep shooting. That allows Rib to get back in position, and that was able to set up the defense. And if they don't have that strong of a defense in the first point, who knows what happens? You should not be able to sit there in the corner like a small hero like Lucio and be able to stop the cart at that area.
I feel like you're about to call Lucio a small child. You're just like, no, he's a small hero. He's not a child. Or something along those lines. I just heard the struggle there for a second, but
do you guys agree that should not be stopping the cart there? You should have to be forced on to the cart.
Yeah, it's yes, I agree.
Okay, so what we're going to do here, this is apparently a little bit of shenanigans going on. We're going to switch to the next map. We're going to start the game, then invite everyone in so we can get a East or Central server. Apparently, members of Immortals having a little bit of lag there, so that's something we can accommodate here. C9, good sports, willing to accommodate as well, but we will be heading to Gibraltar for the next map, and still a rough map to take on C9 for.
Choosing server in 2016. Coming in 2017 to a New York East-based server near you.
Yeah, we're in Central. I think we qualify more as Central than anything else here, Hex, just because you have our course in Chicago, which somehow is still standing after the Cubs won the World Series, which I don't understand. I thought the city was going to burn to the ground. And I'm in Minnesota, where the Twins haven't done anything in so long that people forget they're a team.
That's why I went to BlizzCon. I was afraid for my life. I was like, I can't hang out in Chicago after this Cup World Series. I couldn't even get away from it on the plane. I was just next to all these people. And then I took a shuttle from the airport to LA, and there were 2 Cubs fans in my shuttle because they'd flown out from LA to go to the Cubs game. It was impossible to leave. But no, the city is still standing. There is not another great Chicago fire taking us down. Not yet. Still jubilation, though.
Well, ZP, you did have the Twins Braves World Series to be the best one. Yeah. Now you don't even have that anymore.
It's unfortunate. Someday, when we're not saddled by Joe Mauer's not so great contract. But enough sport ball. We are getting in the game here in just a moment. The game has been started. I believe we have gone on a Central server. Yeah. As both teams immediately start joining. So Watchpoint Gibraltar going to be the battlefield for the next game. It's going to be C9 here on the defense first, and I mean, really, either team could take it here, but C9 definitely looking a little bit stronger based on what we saw from map number 1.
I have to give this to Cloud9 too. We are going to have to see another more good hooks out of Immortals. If this is how the style that they're going to be running, they're not so super confident in 2-2-2. They actually did just play 2-2-2 on defense, but it did not go so well. Maybe some of that is ping, maybe some of that is... I think Agilities is not as comfortable on Reaper as he is on other heroes, and that problem has hurt a few teams during the Ana Reaper meta.
So, okay, apparently some weird stuff is going on the rejoining here, where people got put on the wrong teams and all the rest.
Yeah.
Oh, this is gonna be weird. So we're just gonna go back to the caster screen while people figure this out. Here I thought we had joined all seamlessly, but clearly it's not quite the case.
Well, at least we're on the right server.
That is true.
Progress.
Good point, Hex.
I'm actually seeing Kai right now just be...
dropping.
Kai right now is actually our air traffic controller here, telling people when to join and how. But I have faith. We're slowly getting to the promised land.
I'm pretty sure Kai likes telling people what to do and how, so he's right at home right there.
He kind of does.
Yeah.
He also had a fly new haircut at BlizzCon. I looked at it, I was like, wait, is that Kai? He's like, yeah, full business Kai. It was good. So right now, waiting for the last few members here to join. Should be underway in just a moment. Will be Watchpoint Gibraltar. And what do you really expect to see here going forward? Do you think we're going to be seeing Share4 or Mendo opening up here on a Hanzo, as we've been seeing a lot of teams open up with? Slasher, you appear to be muted.
I'm here.
Here we go.
They have been putting Mendo on Roadhog. They've been playing a similar style on this map.
Mm-hmm.
It wouldn't totally surprise me, though, if they were to do that. I think they're one of these teams that now that they have Mendo on the team, they have a lot more options that they can run on their DPS players.
Well, Mendo wanted to run on this. He wanted to run Roadhog. I keep bringing it up. 2 weeks ago, wanted to run the Roadhog on Gibraltar and just struggled with it because I think it was a ping issue. He missed hooks by a few feet left and right and was able to shut down Shadowburn. I think that his Roadhog was that valuable on this map that you run it until they find an answer to it. He's been hitting everything on it.
Alrighty, so we are getting the game here. Sorry guys for the delay. Watchpoint Gibraltar on the way. So it is interesting for C9 and how they switch up. The one thing for me is that I feel like they haven't really settled into who they want to play where sometimes you'll have Mendo, say, on the McCree, Share4 Reaper, and vice versa. To me, that's still a little bit strange, where you feel like if you're running the same hero composition, you're not under any duress, like last moment hero switching all the rest, you'd think you'd want the same guy on the hero no matter what, not just randomly switch going forward. Actually, I haven't talked to C9 as to why that's the case, but it does happen from time to time.
All right.
I do like the May pick coming out that they've been playing on Gibraltar. May is still so good in the current build of the game that you see teams like Tvik playing on Rogue. Well, he will play May over like any other hero because of how good May is. And if you can play May at a high level, you may as well try right now.
And May, I mean, the thing about her, too, is that I feel like she's one of the best heroes in the game, at least up until Sombra comes in, that can actually stop a fully loaded team with ultimates, where it doesn't really matter if you have all the ultimates in the world if 3 people get frozen early on. It's sort of an equalizer in a way that few things are. Now, when EMP comes into the game and you have that a little bit more often, might be seeing that be pretty effective, but other than that, I tend to agree that I do like seeing the May a little bit more here, where Immortals can be looking for a lot of control here, ice walls and the hooks.
Well, this is what they're going to run that they also ran already, just trying to hold up top, looking for early picks. Agility's gotten the hooks early. They've been negated completely by generally a Zarya allied shield, then they rotate back around. One of these times, though, they have to be careful, and they might get caught trying to rotate back around. I'm not sure the risk and reward is necessarily there. Agility's trying to hide himself, so they don't know he's up here till last second. He might get something. This is a very aggressive rotation.
That was a nice sleep dart coming in from Ithon there. Mendo lucky to get out alive. It was the Zarya shield that kept him up there. Even had to respect it, as he says, nice one in chat, so... Ana's finding more and more plays. Roof right now going for a sleep dart of his own, as C9 taking it easy right now, just slowly pushing up the payload, while letting Mendo take shot after shot, just hoping for that happy arrow that sets things off on a good note.
You do get a segment on the ice wall. Rib gets caught out there and taken down by Ethan. A hook comes in and does take down Short4 as well, but they equalize very quickly. Mendo and Kai now turn this into a 4v4, but it looks like they might not even want to fight it. Mendo is backing out, but Kai still doing some damage down front.
Oh man, Mendo thought he was backing out, even had crossed the plane, and the hook says, nope, we're gonna defy the laws of physics, pull you up and over. So Mendo not quite getting out of that one. Will stymie the C9 push here just a bit.
Pretty lucky to be able to hold that, honestly. It took them a while to rotate back after they looked for that aggressive opening there, and Hype was not in position to cut them in half on the bottom segment car wash there. Wow, two very early picks for Cloud9. Great position. Agilities tries to even it out.
That was Chance just getting completely caught with his pants down by Short4. Short4 out for blood right now. Gonna take down Hyped. He has opened the door almost single-handedly here. Able to get through, and that was just hilarious. Chance had no idea that Short4 was on the other side of that wall, was punished, but just like that, Chance gets back in the fight, and it's Nomi with 2 kills of his own. Oh, catches Kai towards the very end, so despite the early pickoffs, it's going to be a reversal by the Immortals. And Hex, how did that go down like that?
Agilities and Nomi have been the ones to really bring fights back for him. It had gone very poorly for them so far. Agilities landed a very early kill, enough to get his whole hog up, knocked them all into the corner, didn't get the kill feed for him, but that set them all up in the corner for Nomi to be hitting 3 people per swing, and then Nomi just with a beautiful predictive charge finishing that fight for him. It has been their tank play that has kept them in this series.
All right, well, the Maze down early on. Mendo with that quick pick. 6v5 as Short4 with the nano boost just going right into the server room. Grabs Reality and Nomi. Agility's trying to be the hero to bring it back, but it is sleep time for him right now, and while he's sleeping on the job, the cart is just moving forward. Not even good enough to kill, says C9. I mean, why bother there? If he's out of the fight, just move the payload.
They're going to stagger Agilities here very late. He went for a hook, and that's when they decided, oh, we should actually kill him. However, the rest of Immortals is in decent position. Short4 likes to live on top of the shuttle. It does not matter which character he is, if it's a Soldier 76, a McCree, or a Reaper, which makes a little more sense. Short4 really likes the view from us.
Here comes Kai. Graviton Surge is up, right and ready with the Dragon. How hungry is that Dragon? Hungry enough to eat 2 heroes whole, and C9 off of that burst from Kai and Mendo, hoping to get through hangar phase with exquisite speed right now. But you take a look at the defense. The defense does have a chance to bring this back. They have the sound barrier. They're not going to let this go down super quickly. Chance moving in. Sound barrier going to be hitting. Here they go. Blizzard is out, and they move in once more. Rib going to find himself on the business end of that Blizzard, fighting back, but horribly outgunned.
Agilities, another 2 killed. Nomi does have his Earth Shatter at the ready whenever they need it, but he'd be better served in holding it at this point. Adam's going to dance around for as long as possible, but he might want to just give up the ghost and let himself die. He's going to skate out with his buddy Short4, actually boost him out. They are both going to live. Never mind, Nomi has other plans.
I mean, on one hand, that did finish things off and staggered it a bit. On the other hand, I don't know if they gained that much time. They still had to wait for another person to come back in on the side of the offense, so I kind of feel like that was somewhat of a waste there. I mean, yeah, you got 2 kills, maybe slightly extra stagger, but now they're not going to have Earthshatter in the next fight, and that could be problematic as a nano-boosted Reaper, very much likely.
Better ways to clean that up if you are that dedicated to cleaning it up. I completely agree. Earthshatter is something that you never want to see go to waste. It's kind of in the same category with Sound Barrier and Graviton. They're fight-winning ultimates.
Take a look at Short4 right now. He has the nano boost coming in on him. Going to roll right into the side room. Takes down Chance. Effectively causes Nomi to die as well. 2 kills coming out here from C9. Momentum coming in once more. And Hex, how helpful would the Earth Shatter have been there?
Very much so. They are still trying to fight this back. Agilities is back on the Genji for the first time this evening. They need to get back onto this. They just gave it up for whatever reason.
I mean, it wasn't on an endpoint, but that feels like much of the same, where they still had so many people up, they could have contested that. Agilities.
Yeah, why are your 3 people there if you're not going to contest it? Cart management has been an issue so far for Immortals.
Absolutely. Also, kind of wonder, I didn't see the context of what happened to Agilities there. I don't know if that was entirely intentional. I mean, he gets the reset either way, but that was a bit strange. But speaking of Agilities, he's going to be here with the Dragon Blade into Nano Boost, all set and ready. Nomi has an Earth Shatter. It's going to be Rib opening the way, and now Agilities comes in from the back, grabs Mendo immediately, just cuts him down, looking for a little bit more. Should be a 3K and a good cleanup here from the side of Immortals, but I gotta say, Hex, did they put a little bit too much resource-wise into that?
I believe the economy was a little bit imbalanced there. Agilities himself probably could have got it done, but, you know, here's an explanation for it. Hyped is done on the Mei, so he was just going to toss that Blizzard anyway. He's going over to the Winston to help out against Short Force Genji.
All right, so C9 coming in here once more. Roof holding on to that Nano Boost. Gonna use the Nano Boost early on here. It is on Rib, but Rib finding himself just knocked to the ground. Able to do a little bit of extra damage with the Sound Barrier, going to be rolling right into him. Not going to be enough. It's Agilities in the back line getting all he wants and more as C9 gets pushed back once more.
On the deep chase there, they do clean it all up, and right now it's not all of that in favor of one team or another as far as ultimates go. Kaika's gonna have Primal Rage up. The next big impactful one will very likely be Rib on the Earthshatter. Hype just switched yet again, so his Winston is off. Now he's going to Zarya, still impactful against a Genji, but Short Force off and he's on Reaper.
Let's break it. Damn!
All right, Adam gonna break it down. Here comes C9. They feel they have an opportunity right now. Grim Reality, though, immediately takes down Surefour. Soundbearer, no, and Agilities. The counter is in. Dragon Blade, Nano Boost, 2, 3, and just like that, it will be Immortals pushing back C9. And now with a minute left, Hex, how likely is it that we see a hold here before last?
It's looking pretty good right now. They haven't really had an answer for Agilities. Kaikai buzzed his Primal Rage there, and Agilities said, oh, thank you very much for putting away that Tesla gun. I'm going to go murder some people now that you're in our back lines. And he did just that. Kaikai's staying on this Winston, but so far, Agilities, Genji, I mean, I feel justified in asking why he wasn't playing it earlier. He's in a great Genji, and he's time and time again gone to the back lines and destroyed these pushes.
Both Reinhardt's gonna butt heads here. Nomi finds his way into back, throws down the Earth Shatter, but it's not quite as much as he wants. It's gonna be Mendo, in fact, with the cleanup. 64 here for C9. Mendo piling on, and now C9. Only 19 seconds remaining. They have a great opportunity now to move forward and finish out Gibraltar as time is expiring around them. You take a look here at the defenses that come through. They might have a Dragon Blade. They don't have the Nano Boost up just yet. Agility's looking to move forward, waiting for his opportunity. Dragon Blade is out, not gonna have the Nano Boost to go with it, but takes down Roof. Looks for more, it ends up tasting the ground, courtesy of Rib, as Surefour takes to the skies.
How happy is Surefour right now in this position? If you're a McCree, this is your Western dream. He's just hanging out there, just popping people down. There's Earth-Shattered targets just lying on the ground, and he is feasting. He had Deadeye, and he canceled it because he didn't even bother wanting to use it. He was just poking people down. You let him get in that position, you let a McCree get in high ground for free, you're going to have a bad time.
Absolutely, but defensively, that wasn't the worst there from Immortals. Sure, they would have liked to have had that pulled on last, but they did drain the entirety of C9's time bank here, where, bear in mind, this is an escort map, so even no matter what time they complete with, C9 will get an extra minute here should Immortals finish things out. But Immortals, I do feel like they have an opportunity here if they can just keep their offense relatively quick. If they get gummed up a lot in Hangar, might be over.
Well, Cloud9's hangar has always been a strength of theirs. It's going to be interesting to see what they run. I would imagine that when, and if, rather, they get to the hangar phase, Surefour will be on the McCree, and he's not even going to waste any time. He's just going to run McCree early on. They're going to put Mendo on the Reaper instead. I will say, though, I thought the switch really came on for them when Agilities did come onto that Genji towards the end of even shuttle phase, where they had 3 in there and just didn't have the cart presence to slow that down. And then his last point, Genji kind of really damaged their back lines and was able to shut down the opposing DPS. And as a Genji, to be going in on their McCree and on their other Genji, it takes a lot of guts, and he played with guts.
Absolutely. So we take a look here at the defense coming out here from C9. They will not be opting for a Mei. Again, going with a pure power composition, where I think it's important to make that distinction, where you take a look at teams like what we saw from South Korea in the Overwatch World Cup, where they really liked running a lot of control, a lot of just Winston that goes in, that tries to funnel people to one side, Mei's to split things off. This is very classic NAEU, where it's not really anything about control, it's just about raw killing power. And with Surefour and Mendo, that's still a lot of killing power to be had.
Enemy contact.
You'll see what they're going to try. I mean, Agility's going to try to get a sneaky hook here. Does go for Kai. Kai was predicting it, did shield himself up. They are playing a little bit with fire here. That hook's going to be off of cooldown momentarily. Yeah, it is. He misses yet again. It is time for Cloud9 to probably bail out of this situation and go defend. You don't want to give up an early kill easily.
Absolutely not. It's a case there where you just hope that the offense messes up, lets you stagger things a little bit early, but if you take it too far, it can definitely backfire. Surefour, though, going to work his way to the top, looking for ability to drop down. Mendo on the chance, so they're going to be down that AoE healing and ability to speed boost. And this is here for the defense of C9. They don't have to make plays happen. They can just hold up here and let the offense come to them. And that's pretty much what they're doing. But sometimes Agilities brings you to him, able to take out Mendo. So that pickoff actually giving a little bit of new life. And oh, gets Kai towards the end. And now Immortals with a real big opportunity to grab first quickly.
They're going to keep going. Surefour does rotate back around to the top. He was waiting for them to come in so he could drop down on his Reaper and got himself a little bit out of position. Agilities goes nuts, takes down yet another one. Here's the Nomi and Agility show that has been so strong for Immortals when they were doing well. Surefour in a little bit of trouble, gets a very late boost. That, I guess it worked out.
And that is the power of Whole Hog. Stop Surefour from doing quite as much as he wants. He still got one kill from it, though. So even though Agility's had the proper response there, too many people have died here from Immortals, which is unfortunate because that push was looking really, really good for them.
I was about to say that Rolf made a mistake, that was a wasted boost, but Surefour turned it into gold right there, was able to spin 2 kills right out of it. So right now, able to hold against all odds after Agilities and Nomi yet again went a little crazy. So Nomi's going to try to get a kill. Grim taking down Surefour should open things up a lot for them.
They don't have to worry about that Reaper damage at all right now. Deadeye coming out from both sides. It is so high noon right now. Grim Reality, though, does find Rolf off of that Roadhog hook. And as a result, still a little bit more momentum for the side of Immortals. Grim Reality, bit of a duel here versus Mendo. Earthshatter being dropped on both sides. And here comes the sound barrier. Grim Reality using it to give him a little bit more oomph versus Mendo. Is taking him out with the aid of Ithan. And this should be Immortals' point.
That hook that killed Rolf, I'm pretty sure was meant for Mendo, and it accidentally hooked Rolf. Just hook things sometimes. They're going to be aggressive on this chase, trying to stagger a few. This is, you see a lot out of teams knowing that the spawns can be very difficult, to say the least, for the defending team on Gibraltar. They did get those forward spawns, and 2 die because of it.
And Hex, what do you think of the momentum that's coming in here from the side of Immortals? They have a lot in their ult bank.
This is how Cloud9 was able to go through the shuttle phase so fast. Now, they are able to get in because Rib came alive at the right time, able to bust through this door on the shield, but they've already got it halfway through, and yet Cloud9's in a rough spot. They're going to have to get more done with less.
Oh, Surefour able to survive, gets the double kill, looking for more. A nano boost and clutch heal coming in at the last moment, sets up C9 for the hold. And you take a look here at Immortals, they didn't even have the chance to use ultimates there, Hex, but now it feels like the Reaper is coming in pretty soon here, with all these ults up here for the side of the offense and only a Graviton up right now for C9.
That's a fight they had to win if they wanted to take this high ground back, though. It's exactly what they're going to do. They're going to rotate up top, take this high ground. As I said, Surefour loves the view from the top of the shuttle. Doesn't even necessarily need to be there as Reaper, but it does force a response from the other team. They have to try to deal with them up there, or at least stall themselves out because they know what's going to be there. Look at this. He's almost going to death loss him already.
Graviton versus Graviton right now. Kai trying to control the damage. Still, though, it's going to be Nomi coming right in off of that Graviton, picking up 3, swung the hammer for glory, and just like that, Immortals now going to capture this point. They have 4 minutes to bring this all the way to the last here, Hex, and if they're able to do it in the next few minutes, they would have such a big advantage when it comes to time bank.
They're flying, but we've seen tonight on last Gibraltar be the hardest point for it. Around this bend here is where teams have really made their good stand of this entire thing. Used to be shuttle phase, teams have kind of figured it out, but this one seems to be a point where oftentimes defenses are causing themselves the game. They have to be super patient here. You can cost yourselves the game by overextending.
Absolutely, and here we go. Speed boost coming in. Nomi drops the hammer, finds 3. That's the connection he was looking for. Takes out his counterpart, but what's going on? It's Mendo with the heroics in the backline, flanking McCree, taking his due, and C9, despite that Earthshatter, getting saved by Mendo. Nice kills, Mendo.
As I mentioned, Surefour is a great McCree, but they have the opportunity to not lose a ton switching Mendo over to McCree. It opens up their roster so amazingly. Surefour now on the Roadhog of all things, so they're going to run triple tank here for this last point defense. At some point, ZP, do you think they have to rotate into a Reaper to deal with it?
Very possibly, but held the phone right now. Rib going in deep, has the charge, finds the Zarya. Was looking for the Earthshatter, but ends up going a little bit too deep. Is punished, but it's Mendo right now on the rampage, but not gonna be able to do anything. Agilities, nano boosted Dragon Blade Zarya's shield. We just lost Rod, but Take a look here. Both teams still with 6 players, and as Agility's looking for more, building another Dragon Blade. What a reflect on the Surefour, already at 62%. So even if this fight doesn't work out well for Immortals, they're still going to have that Dragon Blade up back-to-back fights.
They're just continuing this fight. I thought this was over a little bit ago. It is only Nomi and the 2 supports. He does use the Earth Shatter there. Probably a little bit mistaken, but you know, he equalizes by blocking the opposing Earth Shatter, so they're in a decent position. Agility's almost on to the Dragon Blade yet again, but if it does not work out, he might be the one who has to switch to Reaper.
Absolutely. Well, here we go. Deadeye opening up here from Grim Reality. Agility's with Dragon Blade into the back, set up by the Graviton. Will get blown away, though, by Surefour's Whole Hog. Ends up getting 2 kills. Surefour not satisfied, grabs a hook towards the very end, and that is one way of dealing with a crazy Genji that's trying to take out your entire team with the Graviton. It was a good setup there by Immortals, but not quite enough, and now, Hex, minute 30 remaining. What do you think of C9's advantage here?
It's going to be interesting to see if this switch actually makes a difference, because they're just running face first into tanks, and that's what shut down Agility's a little bit there. He is the one to switch to Reaper. They are gonna have a boosted Reaper momentarily. I wonder if they wait for Agility's to get a Blossom first. I don't think they have the time.
Alrighty, so it is going to be the Sound Barrier keeping C9 nice and healthy there. Lets Mendo go off once more, picks up 2, and just like that, sure for a Mendo, man. Mendo just getting shot after shot towards the very end. But you take a look, there's a minute left. Now remember, C9 doesn't have anything in their time bank here, Hex, so I think this is a decent opportunity for Immortals to end this game.
Might be their last opportunity, but I like what Cloud9 is doing, just throwing their nano boost onto this Winston to get to the back lines. They know you don't really have to stop anything up front if you can just delete the back line here, but now the ult banks have switched over. It is Immortals with the advantage going forward. At some point, Ethan's going to have to throw down his target. Who's he going to choose?
Deadeye comes up for Grim Reality, but a monkey is in his face. It's Kai, takes it out immediately, but the counter comes out. Kai perhaps a little bit too deep. Ethan with the counter nano boost on the Agilities. Agilities cleaning things up in the back, and just like that, C9 overextending, and here come the Immortals. It's their last push, the last 13 seconds that they have, but they have positioning and priority in the cart, but Kai has respawned. Nano boost is on him, zoning things out, and it's going to be Mendo here in the Tracer. It is a brawl back and forth, but the Immortals starting to lose power here towards the very end. It's a slobber knocker to the last. Nomi and Grim Reality trying to pull it back. Respawns from C9, though, starting to be overwhelming. It's going to be hyped. Graviton at the very end pulls in 2. It is craziness on the car right now, but Rib taking out Nomi could be going from bad to worse as C9 starting to stabilize.
Nomi swang his heart out. He was doing his best. They do have reinforcements in blue in the left side of the kill feed. Always a good sign on these desperation last time pushes. Adam takes out Grim, though. It is only hyped. I just worry that if they do get the kills, they're going to forget the card exists yet again. Mendo, it's a beautiful pulse bomb on Agilities. That will seal the deal as they deny them finishing the map. GG for Cloud9.
My goodness. So what we can take from that is a few things. So one is that C9 definitely gelling a lot more with this roster, but number 2 is that I feel like Immortal standout play is definitely getting better as time goes on. Both Grim Realities and Agilities, big moments all throughout, and not to say the least, of course, is the Ana play for both teams, where both Ethan and Rolf having great moments on that highly skill-based support. So overall, I was pretty entertained. C9 to cut above, but felt like Immortals came out stronger than some people might have expected.
They look solid there. It's very difficult team to beat when you have to try to answer everything that they have. If you do spend 2 heroes to try to isolate Surefour and shut down Surefour, then Mendo will kill you on just another hero. Their DPS are extremely strong, and the core of all good teams always started just rock solid tank play and very good supports. Although I think Immortals tanks and supports are getting up to the level to match their DPS, and they can become a very frightening team.
We talked about how good Kai has been on this team, and his ability to go Winston and cause a lot of problems for Immortals, especially when Agilities is on Genji, which would probably consider him on his best hero. He's going to cause problems for the other team. So when he switched, that was when they were able to gain a lot of momentum and shut down Agilities on Genji. I think for Immortals, and with a lot of teams, as we've seen, when you force a player to go on their second, third, or fourth best hero, you really put a lot of pressure on them to do as they should. Because usually they go on a hero, one that's not just as good as that, but it is the main counter So they get switched off to Reaper. Now you're going up against Kai's Winston. You have the advantage in that way, but if you're not able to win the team fights in time, you saw at the end that it took them 2 or 3 fights to finally get the cards at the very end, and by that time, Cloud9 was able to swap back into things like D.Va and delay the point, and give Mendo opportunity to end the fight. So I think we're going to continue to see that as parity gets closer for all the heroes in Overwatch.
Alrighty, so we are going to be moving forward here in tonight. Going into Group B. Group A is done and dusted, but Group B will be Liquid versus Kingdom to set things off. We'll get to see how Liquid has been training, led up by Rafa, versus Upstart's Kingdom with fan favorites like Jesus. We're going to be taking a short 5 to 6 minute break, but when we come back, that Group B action will be underway. This is the Alienware Monthly Melee. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in, and we'll be right back.